welcome back to Design Bundles YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal. Today, I'm going to show you how to create your very own sublimation files. Now, you can do this if you guys are an artist. There's lots of different programs to do this, but we have a program called Designscape, and you can actually design and create sublimation files right there. What I'm actually going to do is use a mixture between font as well as already made PNGs. So I'm going to combine the two to create my very own sublimation files. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, starting off over here on designbundles.net, you guys can see we have tons of different sublimation files to choose from, whether you guys are just purchasing those or whether you guys are a Plus member. So as you guys can see, I'm over here in the Plus membership. So these are only 1 Plus credit, but how do we create our very own? So like I said, if you guys are an artist, you guys can definitely use our program Designscape to create those files. Or if you're somebody like me that doesn't really know how to draw and things like that, I can use already made PNGs and then some fonts to create my very own file. So I'm going to do that today. So there's a couple different ones. So I'm going to go over here into my Plus purchases so I can show you the font I'm using. So the font that I'm using today is this one right here. It is called Love Vibe. It is super duper adorable. So what I'm going to do is hit download again. That way I can bring it over to this computer. So that's exciting. So if you guys are a Plus member, you guys are going to have a corporate license to be able to use these to create your very own files. That's one thing. But another thing is, even if you aren't a Plus member, if you guys purchase your files from us, you can re-download them over and over again. So we are going to go ahead and download it on this computer because I have it on a separate computer. I actually have it on 2 other computers. So we've got that. All right, so now that we have downloaded this, all I'm going to do is click on Designscape right here. So if you guys are a Gold Plus member, you guys have access to Designscape. So you have to be a Gold Plus member. We're going to click on Designscape right here. And then from here, it's going to give you some information. So if you guys are new to Designscape, we've got a little tutorial here and all of that. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on Go to Designscape, and then it's going to open up the program. So from here, I'm actually going to start with my blank canvas. So whether you guys are creating a sublimation design and you want to have it designed out perfectly for an 11 by 17 or something that's going to come in a little bit smaller, already sized out for a coffee mug, you can definitely do those. But what I'm actually going to do is just use a blank canvas like an 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to go to File, and then we're going to go to New. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and choose my blank canvas. So I'm going to come to Print, and then I'm going to go to Letter, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit Create. So this is going to give us that blank sheet of paper, that 8.5 by 11. From here, I'm going to go ahead and bring in that font. So to do so, I'm going to come down here to the text, this big T here. We're going to click on it. And then to change my font, I'm going to come up here to the top. Now, right inside of Designscape, we have tons and tons of font for you to already use, or you can bring your own in by clicking on Load Font, and then we can just go to Downloads, just simply search for this, and then I'm going to go to, I'm actually going to go to my downloads, type in Love, so I can search for this really quickly, and then I'm going to be able to bring this in. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So I was able to load that right inside of Designscape. So from here, we can go back in here and search. So I'm going to type in Love, and now you can see that it's loaded. So I'm going to click on it. And then from here, we can go ahead and click on our canvas to start typing. To change your size, you can come up here to where it says size, and then we can drag it over to the right, however big you want it to be. I'm also going to resize it more further in just a minute. So the first word I'm going to type out is hippie. I'm going to go ahead and type that out here. Then to resize it even further, I'm going to go ahead and click on our, this is called the Move tool. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to make sure that Transform Controls is turned on. If it's not, you're not going to see these little boxes around it. So if it's not, go ahead and click the little blue check mark here, and it's going to turn those on. I'm going to hold the Shift button on my keyboard, and then I'm going to drag this little box open, just like this, open or over, if you will. So if you hold down that Shift key, it's going to keep everything nice and proportional. So I'm just going to bring it nice and big so I can see what I'm working with. So the very first thing I want to actually do is create an offset or a stroke, if you will. To do so, we can simply come down here to the bottom where it says EFF, click on it. And then you see where it says stroke. So we're going to go ahead and click on that now. And then from here, we can click on the little colored box. I can scoot this out of the way so that way I can see what's going on here. Just move these little boxes. So I'm actually going to scroll down and maybe find like a blue here. And then I'm going to hit OK. And then to change that size, I'm going to go ahead and bring it over. So you guys start to see that offset start to happen there. So something maybe about like this looks good to me. Now, if I want to change that color further, I can click on it again and come back in. But to commit, all you simply need to do is click on OK. Now, how do we change the color of the font? To change the color of the font, we can go back to that EFF, and then we're going to go to color overlay. So we're going to click on that. And then once again, we're going to click on that colored box, and then we're going to choose our color. So I think I'm going to come down to like a really pretty pink. I'm trying to play around with that just a little bit here. So maybe something about like this. I may play with it further here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Once again, to commit, we're going to hit OK again. And so now I'm going to scoot this guy up and out of my way just a little bit. Now I want to create a second word, and that word's going to be vibe. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my text so that way I can click on the canvas and start to type out. Now what's really cool is it's going to type out in the exact same size font that we've already used. So that's really nice. I don't have to change that. So I'm going to go ahead and type that out now. So I'm going to type out vibe, just like so. And then we're going to come back down to that EFF, and I'm going to create that stroke once again. Now, once again, when I hit stroke, it's going to keep that same amount of stroke that I did on the previous one. So that's really nice as well. All right, so now let's go ahead and change the color of the font for vibe. So what we're going to do is click on the EFF again. We're going to click on color overlay. And then what I'm going to do is I want to kind of go into a purple. I want to do something a little bit different. Or what we can do is switch the colors. Say, for example, I'm just going to show you the purple really quick just to kind of show you. Say if we kind of came into like a purple here would be really cute. Or another thing that you can do using that hex code, I can do the offset color for my font for the vibe, and then I could do that pink color for the offset of the vibe. Do you see what I'm saying? So I could use those hex codes to reverse those, so that way they're the same as well. So that's another thing to kind of consider there. First, I'm going to go ahead and do this just to see what it looks like. So what we're going to do is hit OK. So what I have here, we're going to hit OK again to confirm both of these. Let me go ahead and to click and move vibe. What we're going to do is I'm going to click on that move tool, and then I'm going to go ahead and move it around where I want it. So you can resize this if you want to once again and adjust these as you go along. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our PNG. So let's head back over to design bundles, and then I'm going to go to the plus membership. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type out gnome, and I'm actually going to type out hippie. Really quick, we're going to type out hippie. It's going to pop up. Here we go. So we have some hippie gnomes here. They're so, so cute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this guy right here. So I'm going to hit download again, and then that way now I can bring that into Designscape. All right, so now what I've done is I've brought in my PNG design. To do so, all you simply need to do is hit File. What you're going to do instead of using New or Open, because those are just going to open new layers, you want to bring it in on this same layer. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on Open and Place. Once you click on that, you're going to be able to grab your file and bring it right inside. You can also drag and drop it as well. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to take this to the back. So to move this to a background, what we're going to do to the background layer at the very back, I can just grab the layer here and we're going to move it behind everything. So it's going to bring these two forward. So what I'm going to do now is grab the word hippie. So to move each layer, you need to grab those. So those layers are right here. You see vibe, hippie, and then my layer for my gnome. So I could go ahead and move these around, something like this. I'm going to go grab vibe and maybe bring it down here, something like this. You see where it's going? So cute. I'm going to go ahead and make vibe a little bit bigger by holding down that shift on my keyboard and sizing that out just a little bit. There we go. So I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to go ahead and maybe change that hippie a little bit too. So clicking on that hippie, and then I can maybe size that out a little bit further, something about like that. You see how we're making this our very own file now? We're adding these elements in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go back in and change these colors. So let's go back to our hippie, right? I've already got it selected. I'm going to hit that EFF. I'm going to go back to color overlay so I can grab that color of our font. I'm going to click on it here. To grab the color, I'm going to highlight everything, hit Command C. Once again, if you were using a Windows, right click, copy. We're going to hit OK. And then I'm going to now hit OK again. We're going to go to Vibe. I'm going to go to that EFF again. I'm going to go to color overlay. And then I'm going to, actually, because I'm going to do this as my offset. So let's go to stroke. So we're going to go to stroke. And then I'm going to click on that color here. We're going to highlight the hex code, hit Command V. Once again, if you're using a Windows, right click and hit paste. Now we're going to hit OK, and then we're going to hit OK again. So now you see that pink is now our offset, so it's going to do the opposites. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back to hippie, and then I'm going to go to the EFF. I'm going to go to, we need to grab the stroke color. So I'm going to hit stroke, click on that color, highlight it once again. I'm going to hit Command C. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to Vibe, and then we're going to go to the word this time. So we're going to click EFF. We're going to go to color overlay. We're going to click on our color, and then same thing. I'm going to highlight that hex, Command V, or right click paste. Okay. So now you see those opposites. So I have the, hippie and the vibe. See how I've got the opposite for the stroke and the font there? So you could do something like that. Now, obviously, these colors, I think we need some more colors to pop. So you could do something like this, but I really think for something like this, we really need to, I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go into my font, and I want to do the color overlay, and maybe let's try a yellow. Let's just kind of see. So once you bring in that PNG, you can start to play with your colors to figure out about what color looks best for your project. So maybe this yellow looks a little bit better. I think that looks super cute. And then what I may do for my hippie there is I'm actually going to take that stroke. So make sure you hit OK to confirm those. Let's go back to hippie. This will be our last piece here, I promise. We're going to click on that EFF once again. And then this time we're going to go back to that stroke. And I'm going to go ahead and change that color to a purple. We're going to come back up here, and we're going to go into a purple here, maybe even like a super, like a bright purple that they have kind of going in here. So something about like this looks good to me. I'm going to hit OK and OK again. So you can kind of see that there. See where that all came in. So this is my very own file. I've got that PNG, and then I've got my words here. And then what we're going to do to combine all this and make it one file to create this sublimation file, you can see that we have 4 layers here on the side. What we want to do is smash this down and make it one. To do so, what we're going to do is we're going to click on layer, and we're going to go to flatten image. So now you see that all of those layers went away, and now it's one. So now we have one solid file. This is our sublimation design. Now what we need to do to save this so that way we can either, print it out later, or maybe we're going to sell this design. What we can do is go to PNG from here, and it's going to just simply send it straight over to our desktop. Or what you can do is go to File, Export As, and then from here. When you're creating a sublimation design, what you're looking for is saving it as a PNG or JPEG. Preferably, mostly everybody's doing a PNG, so that's what you want to save it. So you could go to Export As and save it as a PNG, just like so. And that's how easy it is to create your very own sublimation files. Now, you could just take the font. You could do hippie vibes or whatever you're wanting to design, whether it's your logo or creating a really cool sublimation design with font. Maybe you want to use some of our patterns and then use some fonts as well, or maybe some patterns along with some PNG designs, some SVGs. You can take multiple elements to create something and make it your very own. So if you're like me, I'm not an artist, so I can't just go out and really draw these things or create these really amazing watercolors. But what I can do is take some elements and create something and make it my very own. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.